believe in the gun. And our players don't use it most days. They use it every day.
In my 20 years as head coach, I've used the gun every single year. Well, my dream as a coach that everybody would grow up with the gun, because getting all those reps would make my job a lot easier.
Welcome everyone to the second presentation today. Before I introduce Ganon Baker, I'm Tom McDonald from the Board of Directors for the NABC, two-year college coaches, and I've also been with Championship Productions for like 20 years. I think Ganon may have been one of the first people I ever talked to, or coaches that I ever talked to about doing educational videos. The NABC Championship Webinar Series, a great thanks to the NABC staff, Jim Haney, Reggie Mitten, Troy Hilton, and the rest, Eric Weiberg, but really all of them. They've been absolutely phenomenal in promoting and helping, making sure these are unbelievable successes. And then the gun for sponsoring and help making these possible. Sideline Interactive is going to give away one table, 8-foot LED lights, free shipping. It's valued at over $11,000. Somebody's going to win that by the time we get done on May 1st. Craig Reed, for all the coaches that are out there that got stuck in their house and couldn't get back to their offices or share with the coaches through video. They got KBA marker boards, magnetic boards. So we really greatly appreciate Craig Reed and KBA. Special thanks to Mike Bray, the past president of the NABC, and also Jamie Dixon, who's now the president. He was on yesterday and did a great job just talking about the benefits of being on the NABC or being a member of the NABC. And we talked about the benevolency fund, and we'll talk about that later on. The board of directors have all been really supportive, social media-wise and speaking. And then Championship Productions, Bill Bergen and Daryl Bennett and Nate Landis for all of their hard work. So I'm going to give a quick rundown of the bio from Ganon Baker. Like I said, I've known him for 20 years. Every time he speaks, people fall in love with what he does. And that's one of the reasons we went after him to speak on this. One thing that he's going to talk about is we were going to do this skill work for the driveway. We got a little weather issue, but he's going to be back on some other time to do it. We'll keep you informed before May 1st. And then he's also going to talk about his curriculum, and he's going to give somebody full curriculum, which is for free, valued at $660. And he's a giver. That's the one word I always think about him is he would do anything for anyone to make you a better player, to make you a better coach, and make your teams the most successful they can possibly be. And he's a great guy, family guy, good guy. He would do anything for anyone. I always look at this when one of the best compliments you can give somebody is call him coach. So with that, I'll call Coach Baker. I'll turn it over to you.
Tom, hey, man, I appreciate it. It's an honor to be on this kind of platform. Why? Because it's a family of coaches. And, you know, we all bleed red and we all handle the orange rock. And that's what I want to give today, man. So thank you for that wonderful introduction. It's an honor to be here, be involved with so many valuable coaches on all levels. I'm going to do my best. Unfortunately, I can't be outside, man. I had it all set up, had my driveway, going back to the streets, you know, one-on-none drills, you a ball, a dream. It's what we all started out with, playing basketball. Now we're coaches, or players are doing that now. So I apologize. It's a monsoon outside. It's real windy. It was affecting my mic and then my jump shot, you know, and the cameraman. And it's supposed to rain here in about 15 minutes. It's sprinkling now. So we're gonna do that at a later date. But I still want you to stay on the call. I still want you to stay on the Zoom because I got non-negotiable. So as a player and a coach, you have to be able to draw the line in the sand and say, what do you stand for? So there are things that can make or break your player's game and life, or your game and life, depending on whether you're a player or not. So I call them non-negotiables. Let's get after it. My philosophy comes from, again, as a coach, you can't give the message until they respect and understand the messenger. So real quick, I always want to tell people, look, what I do is I'm not guessing. It's not something I read in a book. I actually live this stuff. And now this stuff is my lifestyle. This is my proof of concept. This is my evidence that this stuff works. Like, there's many ways to success, many, many great coaches. This just has worked for me. And I've had 30 years as a player and as a coach. I played on all levels, professionally, college, high school. I was an NCAA Division I and II coach for 5 years. My job was scouting and player development. And then I got out of it. I was a 20-year coach. I've been in business for 20 years as a player development coach, 48 countries, 5 continents. And then I have wonderful mentors. You guys all know Kevin Eastman, John Lucas, a guy named Mike Dunlap. From a distance, I've been able to use some of the stuff of Hubie Brown, got to spend time with him a little bit at 5-star, and then Rick Pitino. So just to name a few, those are some of my mentors out there. And then you guys, you know, iron sharpens iron. One of the reasons I give so much is because so much is given to me. And as a coach, you know, I'm going to go through many solutions, players, many solutions today that physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, how you can get better at the game, and in turn, it's going to make you better at life. I have a master's of kinesiology. So with all that, my philosophy, that's where my non-negotiables comes in. But basically, it's real simple. Coaching is motivation. You know, playing is motivation. You know, Buzz said, Coach Buzz, Texas A&M said the other day is, look, if I got to twist your arm to do things, when adversity hits, you're going to quit. But if internally you have that self-motivation, somehow you find it daily when you face obstacles, like you're gonna push through. You're gonna have what they call grit. Great book out there, coaches, by Angela Duckworth. If I'm talking too fast, you can rewind. This is recorded. Let's keep up. But I got a lot of stuff to go through. But coaching is motivation. It's connecting. Relationships. You got to get these players to buy in, and you got to build a trust. If you have that trust, then it can't be torn. Whatever you go through, you can hit them, you can bite them, metaphorically, you can spank them, but that trust will never leave you because they know you care. But you have to have relationships. And then execution. Can you coach under pressure? Can you coach when there's doubt, there's chaos, there's pressure, there's frustration, there's fatigue, there's pain? Through the players, through you, we all feel it. But can you coach them up consistently? I had a chance to work out LeBron James because of my relationship with Nike many times. And he said one of the greatest things about greatness. I said, LeBron, what's greatness? I want to share with the world some of the things you do. He said, greatness is consistency. Do what you do at the level that you need to do it every single day. And so what I'm going to do in the next hour is I'm going to share with you some solutions to these things, some practical strategies as a player and as a coach that you can do. If you have trouble with confidence, coach, players, if you have trouble, then you need to prepare. Real simple. Preparation breeds confidence. So one of the reasons I'm so confident is because I prepare. You know, because when your opportunity comes, it's too late to work. You got to put the work in. You reap what you sow. Whatever you give to the game, right, the game's going to give back to you. As a leader, players, as a coach, you don't want to influence. Influencing is people follow you, people like you. You're a social media influencer, so to speak. But coaches, I think trainers influence. Coaches impact. You know, the impact you have is impartation. It's, do you get the players to remember what you showed them? Do they remember how they felt or felt from you? And do they go out and execute what you practice? It's modified. It's behavior change. That's what impact is. And again, you know, changing lives. I want to change their life. So my philosophy is very clear. The two main jobs of a coach is I want to change their life and I want to change their game. And I do that through my philosophy, my teaching methods. They have to be clear, meaning you have to, you know, verbally connect with them in a creative conversation. You can't speak too much. You can't speak too little. That's something that you got to develop. When you're working out in a practice or a workout, it's not a clinic. This is a clinic. But when you're out there, players can't lose their sweat or attention. But you got to impart information very quickly, very specifically. It has to be correct. So that's why I love these things, because as a coach, you can always find a better way to teach the correct way. So I'm always finding a different way to say triple threat. I'm always finding a different way to say down screen or pin down. I'm always finding a creative, different way to say move the ball. I'm always finding a different motivational drill or team building strategy. I'm always finding a correct, different way to teach splitting the gap, with the ball or without the ball. So that's very important. It's constant growth. And psychologists will tell you that the true definition of joy is growth. You can't be truly happy unless you're growing every day. I've experienced that. I've lived with WNBA, been around NBA, WNBA, NBA, not lived with WNBA, but I've traveled and spent time training NBA players. I've seen their lifestyle. I've seen the WNBA lifestyle. These players have everything: power, money, prestige, but what brings them true happiness is that, are they getting better? Maya Moore, great example. She's not truly happy, regardless of the popularity or fame, unless she's growing. And so, my point is, always find different ways for the truth and to teach correct. And then charisma. Charisma is, wearing a cutoff shirt with a collar. Charisma is coaching in the tie-dye. These players, you got to meet them where they're at, man. You lead from your generation. So I was born in 1972. I'm 2.5 years away from 50. But I might have to, wear something, say something, use music, be a little flexible in my personality to connect. And you got to teach with charisma. Charisma is fun, humor, sarcasm. I want to break their bad habits, enhance their good habits, but I never want to break their heart, right? I never want to break their spirit. I never want them to cry me a river because I've offended them. I always want to respect them. And so, just for example, man, you're dealing with female players. You can't call them fat. You can't tell players, hey, you got to lose weight. You can tell a male that, but a female player, man, you got to have some charisma to get them to get in shape, to get them to play harder, to get them to be more energized. Just a small example, because I know that's been a huge platform with coaches I've talked to. I train a lot of females, and that's just a small example of how you got to use charisma to break the habit, but not the heart. Let's go NABC. So you got to own your philosophy. I talked about two main jobs of the head coach. Look at that form, Maya Moore. I mean, I just one of my favorite players I've ever worked out. So your main job as a coach, as a player, right? You play basketball to win. Is winning important? No. My daughter's YMCA team, man. We were like 1-10, right? But we didn't talk about winning. We talked about how to act like a winner. And so that's you can talk about that at any level. Tom, how we doing?
Good. I got 2 questions for you.
Absolutely.
Give me 1 second. I can turn this up. So first question is, you've worked with all these NBA players, and I mean, do you see common traits in their characteristics or what they want, how they want to be treated or motivated? Is that totally independent? But really, what's the first question was, what are the characteristics of some of these great players you've worked with, and is there a common thread, a common characteristic in all of them?
Number 1, unbelievable energy. Every day, every meeting, every practice. Nobody's perfect, and so when you let them know, hey man, you gotta get your motor up, like they get it. They're offended that they let themselves like that. So passion is close to their heart. Number 2, man, they hate making mistakes, right? They're so competitive. So if you do a drill and they don't make 10 in a row in 45 seconds, or they don't make the time, or they lose a game, they ain't leaving that gym till they win. So they're competitive. And number 3, they don't want you to BS them. They value learning. Learning is addictive to them. Growing, getting better is addictive. They really don't. I mean, obviously the media twist it, like these professional athletes. A lot of them think they just want the money and they just want the fame. Not my experience, not the best of the best. Are there some like that? Sure. All they want to do is grow. They want to grow their championships, and they want to grow their game, and they want to grow their life. So growth is important to them. Great question.
Here's next. Do you feel there is a way to add a player level of grit, or do you see that it as something that you simply are born with?
100% you're not born with it. Some people have an instinct. I remember when I asked my dad, and when I was 12, hey, how do I get a Division I scholarship? How do I start at Hampton High School? Because, you know, they're one of the top teams in the state. I want to win a state championship. How do I do that? And he said, son, it's going to be hard because you're short and then you're white. And I said, well, what's white got to do with it? Because I always say as a coach, success is colorblind and gender free. He's like, well, they're going to tell you you're a cracker, you're a honky, you're a white boy. They're going to ostracize you just because you're different. That's what happens. You could be purple going into an all yellow team. You're different. So be ready for that. I was like, let's bring it on. He made me watch Rocky 2, right? And then he dropped me off in an environment where I had to fight for myself. I had to figure it out. I had to learn communication skills. I had to lose and find a way to get back on the court. I had to find solutions to my problems because I was soft. I was silent. I was stupid, you know? And so I went back home and worked on my game and kept asking the right questions to get the right answers and kept working and working and working. Finally, it paid off. So as a coach, you got to create that environment. You do it gracefully, depending on the age and the personality of the player, but you got to put them into position, create an environment of failure, one-on-none, one-on-one, two-on-two with the team. Many ways to train. We can go over it here. There's group workouts, there's individual workouts, but you got to get them to embrace pain. Pain is good. There's only, so it's a mental relationship that the coach has, using podcasts, using books, it's an education. And then repetition is the mother of success. They just got to continue to keep failing, keep working, do charts, show them progress. Hey, you're losing weight. Hey, you're getting better. Hey, you're a little bit faster. Hey, you won that one. Hey, you scored a little bit more. Whatever the measurable is. And then one day it all falls together because you reap what you sow. Eventually you get better. But Tom, in life, you know this, the only way to victory is to go through a battle. And that needs to be said. We don't need to give kids praise if they don't deserve it. We don't need to glorify everybody's the same. Everybody deserves a trophy. In sports, that's not true. And in life, that's not true. We need to teach these kids, hey, there's going to be pain, but there's going to be joy. There's going to be quick victories, but there's going to be long victories. That's the way life is. It's not about winning. It's about acting like a winner. Here are the behaviors of the winner, and here's what you need to do. So grit is something as a coach, you can absolutely create an environment to foster that.
Here's my last one, or for this session, then I'll let you go to work, is if you were a high school coach, how much time would you spend on the skill development side of a practice compared to the X and O's, offense, defense, those type of things?
That's a great question. Obviously, if you want to be the best, you do what the best do. And some of the best programs bearing rules in high school, some of the best programs in college and the NBA do this. They have skill development workouts on their own. So if it's legal and you have time, do all your skill work during the season, right? In the morning, during lunch, an hour before practice. If you don't have that structure and you can't do that, then all you got is 2 hours, right? Then do an hour of your skill work, and then an hour of your teamwork. And then if your team, after self-evaluating it, is pretty good, then you lessen the skill work time, and then you do more of the team time. But you got to constantly evaluate it. During the off season, it's a no-brainer. 5 days a week, 2-3 hours a day. Always take 2 days off a week. One thing that's not taught a lot is recovery and rest. So I think kids need 2 days off a week, do nothing, sitting on the couch, playing Fortnite or whatever. But that's what the NBA does. The NBA has their skill workouts outside of practice, and then practice, man, is just hour and a half, hour 20 of just team stuff. Because if you do your skill work at practice, man, practice gets drawn out a lot. And even gym rats, man, they don't want to be in the gym 3 hours every single day. You know what I mean? So that's what I've seen, like Memphis. Memphis has short practices. I just toured Memphis University with Penny Hardaway and my guy, Cody Topper. Man, they do their skill work during the day, and then practice is just practice. And then obviously after practice, the gym rats are there, coaches are there to get extra work. I hope I was clear in answering that question.
Okay, I got one more for you.
Let's go. Let's go.
Any suggestions on how to get female athletes more interested in working on skill development I've been creating and making it competitive, challenging, and more fun than just go and do it. Thanks for your time and for being on.
Great question. Very true. With men too. Whatever you want the kids to do, you got to model. So it comes down to a passion thing. The kids don't want to do skill development because it's not fun, right? Kids pay me to work them out, and that's something that most kids won't do for free. Kids want to play. So, continue to make the drills fun, continue to make the drills engaging, have a winner, loser, have a number to get. How many can you get in a minute? You got to do 100 push-ups in 4 minutes, whatever the thing. They get external rewards, right? They get a Slurpee, they get $1, whatever, a T-shirt for the hardest worker or the best drill person. But bottom line is, you got to have passion for the game. You got to continue to feed them life lessons and basketball lessons. And if you're engaging enough, then that should help them wanting to do skill work. Maybe they don't want to do skill work because the workouts are boring. The enthusiasm is not there. The other side of it too is, you know what? They just like basketball. And if you're a high school coach and you can't recruit and this is all you got to work with, there really is no solution because you can't control their mind. You can help, but they control their mind and their emotions. And, that's the difference between the best of the best and amateurs. They just like working out or they don't. And so that's my curriculum has tons of strategies, and this talk will give you some, but that's a loaded question we could talk about for months.
Coach, I'm going to give you 2 more you can hit and then go right back on to yours. What is the biggest glaring deficiency in today's player development? And then number 2 is weight training. How often during the season? Yeah,
I'm not an expert in weightlifting, although I do have a kinesiology degree, and Tom, I still got my guns, man.
Hey, look at Mike.
Boom!
Yeah, but I don't have the cutoff shirt.
You got to take your shirt off, man. This is the year 2020, COVID virus. Everything's thrown out the window, man. We just need to be free, like Adam and Eve, man. So cut off the cardigan you got. Get out the chest hair, man. And let's show the guns, man, because weightlifting is back, baby. People are going to come out of this virus either very, very overweight or looking like Sly Stallone. I don't know.
I'll take it off when I stop the video. Here we go.
Tim Grover is a friend of mine, and any weightlifting information, I always consult him, but 100% lift during the season. How much, how hard, that's not my lane, but I know this, you got weightlifting is a lifestyle, and if you don't, the muscles will atrophy, and it's not about really strong. You got to stay strong, but it's about injury prevention. I think the most important thing during the season, right, is growth in your game, injury prevention, staying healthy, because that hinders a lot of teams from winning the championship. And the way to help being injury prone is to lift and stretch and ice baths and water and heat and cool down. And then the biggest thing glaring from player development as players, the 2 biggest weaknesses is decision making. Do I shoot it? Do I pass it? Who do I pass it to? And then the accuracy of the pass, the passing skill. I see a lot of players getting shooting reps, dribbling reps, but I don't see a lot of Instagram highlight tapes, guys getting passing reps, dropping dimes on time. And so if you're a coach out there, make sure you get your passing reps. And then there's nothing wrong with repetitional drills. I'll talk about this. But repetitional drills are drills where you're getting muscle memory. Dribble, 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 shoot, 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 jab, 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 cut, catch, shoot, curl, pop, fade. But after you do that, that's good. So 50% of your workout, rep drills. The other 50% of your workout, flesh to keep it fresh, right? Add some bones, move those cones. Meaning you got to, as your coach, or you got a manager, or maybe you have another player at the workout. Now you do some 3-on-2s and 2-on-1s, or have one player, right, decide I'm a guard, you or you. And that third player comes down and kind of reads that defender. Now, a lot of times, one of the reasons I am in shape because I throw my body into the workout. So I'll guard guys off the catch. I'll guard guys off the dribble. I'll guard guys off the cut. and it gives that second player in that workout, the player with the ball, the decision. And so, great question. As a player development coach, it's the competency of the coach. I think, our industry is private player development coaches, the high school coaches, a lot of times it's not their fault. They don't have the time to train these kids. The ones that do, and the private coaches that do it, like in my industry, I'm not sure they're humble enough to really understand the whole total part of the game. Like, I went through some lumps as a young coach, but I had a great pedigree because I coached in college, studied player development, worked at 5-star every summer. So I put in my 10,000 hours to master, to help become a better coach. And I still got a lot to learn, but I think coaching, player development coaches need more reps so they keep their energy up, they keep their competency up so they can give better constructive feedback on, look, the game's not about one-on-one. They got to teach these players how to play with 4 others. And Gino RM, we interviewed him, he said something great. He said, if you're teaching skills out there, help these players go hard, help these players compete through pain, and help these players understand it's not about them. Like, they got to learn how to talk and touch and relate and play with a teammate. So back to the PowerPoint, you got to teach your players how to win at basketball. That includes the basics, and then how to play with a teammate, how to play instinctively and intuitively, meaning, you got to make decisions in the flow. Great offense is consecutive effort. Action. Great offense. Catch the ball 1,001, 1,002. You got to get rid of it. So in my workouts, right, when a player makes a move, he's got to do it in 3 seconds. I don't care about the dribble, I care about the time. When a player gets open, right, once he's open and catches it, he's got 3 seconds. That's playing instinctively, playing intuitively. Guy cuts him off. He makes a pivot or decision without hesitation. If you hesitate, your feet get slow. How to treat a teammate, talk and touch. And then here's the biggest one as a coach. You can create this. How to respond to adversity, pressure, stress, weakness. Look, a workout is not what you see on social media. A workout is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be mistake-driven. It's supposed to have some dirt, right, so to speak, so that you can figure out as a player how to clean it up in time, because that's the way the game is. And then real quick, and I'll put a picture of my time with Kobe there, because we all knew from, Kobe's passing that, his legacy was making life better and winning in life. And Kobe certainly taught us how to win in life through all the pain he has gone through personally and professionally. This is just mine, but you got to have in your curriculum players. You should have this. How am I going to impact life? And one way, what I try to do is I try to help people through my workouts, whether I'm talking to them pre-practice, post-practice, through a direct message, whatever I'm doing. I'm not trying to be these players' friends, although I'm friendly, right? And I'm a shepherd, but man, I'm their coach. I'm their mentor. I'm their, I'm their coach. I can't. I'm teaching them how to have passion in life, because passion takes away a lot of your pain. I'm teaching them how to have a purpose, right? Have a purpose in your practice. Have a purpose in your season. Coach gave you a role. Be a star in it. And then a purpose in life, because if you don't have a purpose in life, you become depressed. That's why most people become depressed. They feel no purpose. They feel that the world doesn't value them. They don't have any significance. Peace, right? And many mental techniques I can talk about. There's books about it. But players have to have peace on the court in their life. And then time freedom. I am able to spend time every day with who I love, who loves me, and what I love. And so the way you do that is you create a career, not a job. You have a calling, something you love to do. It's hard. I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm speaking from the spirit. I've been doing this 20 years. I can set my own schedule. I can wear what I want, as long as I bring value and don't disrespect people's hearts, but try to empower their spirits. And then financial freedom. This is just important to me because money has changed my life in a good way. I was able to finance my business and do what I love to do because I've gained value from the world, and the world financially will pay you if you have passion. And so just an example, hurricane displaced victims, my wife and I have the money to help them. We just adopted a girl right? A few years ago, I couldn't do that if I was broke. So we changed that girl's life, and money won't make you happy, but it will change. And, I speak about that from a good perspective because I've seen so many NBA players go broke, right? Go broke over money, and because they're broke, it affects their life. So how do you build the player, right? I teach holistically. And what that means is as a coach, as a player, right? College coaches want holistic players. They want players that have physical tools, mental tools, emotional tools, and spiritual tools. And my time with Blake Griffin right there is a great example. I mean, that dude emotionally, mentally, and physically, in my time that I spent with him, very, very mature. So what I do is before I teach anything, I got to see it. I got to have faith. I have a revelation for a drill, for a concept, right? I see success. Before you get anywhere with your body, your mind's got to start there first. So I see it, and then I have information. I go out and try to get what's right, and then I work like hell to make it a realization. So that's a good little formula I tell players before workouts. And then you got to have impartation, like I talked about, getting the players to see what you see, getting them to know what you know. So how do you impart stuff as a coach or a player? Whatever you teach players, whatever you want to know as a coach, write it down, read it, write it down, highlight it, recite it, review it, rep it, repeat it. All that is remembering, and that's learning. That's how the players remember. One of the smartest players I've ever worked out, LeBron James, that's how you get so smart. He said, man, I just do it. It's like, he's being funny, Nike. He's like, nah, man, I just rep it. Repetition's the mother of success. It's hard to learn. It's easy not to learn. Learning's addictive. I found out that as a coach, if you bring value, right, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, these players want that. Like, they will reward you, but it's hard. They won't be like that at first, but they'll start to see what you see, feel what you feel. They'll become part of your world. Now you're impacted. One of the biggest compliments I've ever gotten is, Coach, I only like basketball, but after working with you, now I love it. Boom. He didn't say I've won 19 championships. It's the impact. So the physical, the basketball skill sets. Here's what you would need to teach players. Here's what you need to know. You need to get your dribbling game up, right? That means driving downhill to the rim and then driving uphill. That means away from the rim. You need to have a move and a counter off 1 foot, 2 foot. I teach about 5 of them. You need to teach players how to use their body as a second hand, but you need to teach them how to catch with 1 and 2 hands. You need to teach them how to pass with 1 and 2 hands. And you need to teach them how to shoot. 99% of what I teach is offense, and those are the main skills that I think if players have, they'll be successfully offensively. You got to teach them moves. It's fun. It's the eye candy. It's dessert. It's the banana split after you eat that steak. But what moves do you teach? Well, you move in a counter off the cut. I don't know if you can see it, but for example, this is called a burn cut. All right. So if the player here is spotting up, okay, and 2 drives, the first move is just to spot up. Now, the second counter is if X2 turns their head, then X2 is dead. If the X2 turns, then 1 burns. And so that's a burn cut. You can get a burn cut from any position, but that's just an example of a move and a counter off the cut, right? If 2 drives here, 1 can burn. But whatever you teach, there has to be a why and a when, off the bounce, it's dribble move, off the catch, triple threat, and off the finish. As a coach, run your offensive system, but if you want your players really engaged, while you teach them their system, right, teach them a move. That'll lock them in. Players, nothing wrong with moves, but you got to make sure when and why you're doing this move in regards to your coach's offense, because they are God. Tom, you're back in. Question, man.
Yep. Will you please? I just want everybody to know that we're going to let everybody know, every person that's registered for this, which is unbelievable numbers, we'll let everybody know when Ganon can go out on the court or out on the driveway and do the skills so everybody knows, and we'll post it. So, Coach Baker, you just let us know. Best advice for someone starting their player development career.
Oh, man. Look, he should join my mentorship, and that's an hour conversation. Number one, is it your life purpose? I mean, is it whether you believe in God or the universe, is it what you're made to do? Were you born for that? You know what I mean? Because that's hard. Anybody that has a big dream is going to go through big pain, going to go through big battles. But that's a great dream. So number one, are you ready? Do you have an agape love for it? Meaning, no matter what happens, I'm not going to quit. There is no plan B. Number two, get organized. What's your philosophy, and how are you going to teach it? And there's a whole list of others.
How does somebody get a hold of you on that? Just how do you want them to get a hold of you after this is over for development, or having you at their clinic or their camp? Or
I would love to. I travel. I have people come to me. We have an online platform. I'm all over social media. My name is Ganon, Ganon Baker, but even if you misspell it, my name comes up on Google. Tommy, give out your number, man. You know, I'm all over Championship Productions with Tommy. We got like 50-something videos, man.
If you go to our website and you buy any of his videos, everything's in there. But you can get a hold of Ganon Baker anytime you want. GanonBakerBasketball.com, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm easy to get a hold of because my name's pretty unique. Here's the next one. As a skill developer, what is the hardest basketball cut to rep? I'd assume teach maybe, but it uses the word rep.
I don't know if this is a cut, but it's ball screen reads. I think cuts, in my experience, are pretty easy to read in the sense of you got cuts coming with no screen, right? We call those naked cuts. And I teach 4 ways to get open high and then 4 ways to get open low. If you're coming to the ball, right? If you're coming to the ball's here, right? And you're making a lift cut, right? There's 4 ways to get open and how the defense guards you. So, that's a loaded question, but I would say the toughest thing for me to teach as far as two-man game is the ball screen. That's why you shouldn't teach it until a player really understands the game. Usually in my curriculum, by the time a kid is 13, if he's been playing since he was 8, he should understand the ball screen. So, you got 5 years of learning the game, and then you're into that.
Does that mentality of not knowing when to pass or who to pass to come from coaching plays rather than coaching to play?
Great question. It comes from a little bit of coaching 2-on-0 with this. I call it decision-making drills. Right? I've done many clinics with you, Tom, on that. But man, he's right, or she's right. Hey, the best way to make decisions: play 1-on-1, play 2-on-2, play 3-on-3, play 5-on-5. Go back and watch film. One of the trainers out there, Drew Hanlon, does an outstanding job of breaking down film with his guys and showing them what they do right and wrong. We do that on our platform, but players have to understand the game can teach. The game can be your player development coach. When I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, that's what I did. I played. I was self-aware. I went back over the game at 7-Eleven with a Slurpee. I watched my film, and it's funny, man, how saturated it's gotten and how numb we have. Like, we think we need somebody else, right, to fix all our problems. Yes, we do need others, but the game can teach you that. Great question.
Here's the next one. This coach is asking if you could kind of go back and review creating drill portion of this presentation.
Creating the drill portion.
Yeah.
It's for. Well, I haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay.
But to answer his question, look at the player's skill, or look at the game, and whatever skill you want that player to learn, use a game action. So if you say, hey, I want to teach my players how to come off a down screen. And so a down screen, right? A down screen is player here, and then we down screen. All right. So if that's the action you want, then this. We won't use that anymore. If that's the action you want, then you go back and you rep that. Teach them how to cut from low to high by himself. teach him how to catch the ball, teach him how to get his footwork. So do all the parts. He's got to catch, he's got to be in shape, cut, got to learn how to get low. He's got to be able to shoot the ball on the move. And then add a chair there. That's the screen. All right, rep it, rep it, rep it, and then add flesh. Now he's got to do the reads. So it's so when you're building a game, you build the skill through the drill. You do it slow, you do it game speed, and then you add flesh. And then you make the decision part. So you do the reps and then the reads. Great question. That's something that we can. Again, my curriculum has all of this in more detail. But go ahead, Tom, you're on again. We can answer.
I was just going to say, go. You got 13, 14 minutes left. So go ahead, do what you got to do, and I'll end up with questions at the end when we get close to that time, okay?
Got it. And then in basketball, you know, the basketball part of it, this might help. I create all my drills, some of the best I've been around. Manu Ginobili, spent 4 days with him, got to really understand the Spurs system. I got to train the Minnesota Lynx with Cheryl Reeves. Like all of their drills, all of my drills are created off team concepts. So what do you need to teach your kids in skill development that'll help the team? Well, you got to teach them ball movement, share the ball, player movement, right? Spacing and screening. And it's not really your drills, it's what you emphasize. So you're emphasizing those. And then driving kick, which is the most popular skill set now because everybody's switching. You want to get teams in rotation. So what's your plan? You got to have a compass. And for the most part, I have a curriculum. If you'd like to look at it, great. If not, then you got to understand, what do you teach players 8 to 11? What do you teach players 12 to 15? You got to be organized. You don't teach an 8-year-old what a 16-year-old, I mean, you know, should know. You got to start basic and then move to advanced. Ironically, a lot of 16-year-olds that I've trained, I've had to use my beginner curriculum. But that's my compass. It's my book. It just keeps me organized. And so, you know, it allows me to teach with clarity. Here's many ways you can do workouts: individual versus group, guards versus bigs, combination work, and then you mix it up a little bit. Workout goals. Like, here's some real meat and potato stuff, okay? Every time I'm in a workout, I might achieve one of these goals or all of these goals, but they got to learn. Every workout, they got to learn. Number 2, you got to get them to work hard. Number 3, they got to have fun. Number 4, you got to compete. Number 5, they got to learn how to play with a teammate. If there's no other teammate, you're their teammate. How they interact with you. Drills must be game-like and applicable. And then once they have reps, give them the reads. Those are the workout goals. As I said, I have a lot of great decision-making drills, but you have them make decisions with balls, you know, throwing balls to each other or use your body. For the best players, you got great players in your workout, right? They're the best player. They're bored because the other players are, you know, not as good as them. So you're doing elementary skills. For your best players, right? And Darius Miles Miller here plays for the Hornets. I had a prep school, and he would always work out with our prep school team. After I trained him, he would empower the other players. He would lead. He would do team building, peer tutoring. Whatever drills the elementary players were doing, I gave him a harder drill. So there's got to be a little strategy there. But get your players to lead. Get your players to be a quote-unquote player coach. But every workout, every practice, you got to have non-negotiables. And then here are some of mine, just practical things you can do. All right? Number 1, they got to run to every drill. They got to run to every spot. While they're waiting in line, they got to do something. That might be jabs, push-ups, passing on a wall, shooting to themselves, dribble moves. But they got to be active in the line. If we're doing 2-on-2-on-2 or 3-on-3-on-3 cutthroat, if they're a sub, they got to be talking to each other. You know, they got to be talking to the players playing in the game, even if they're competing. Hey, that was a good charge, Romeo. Whatever, man. But they got to continue to be engaged as a sub. The practice has to have energy. Choose, talk. Sometimes I manufacture it with music, but there has to be a sound in that practice. A silent gym is a losing gym, unless it's coaches talking. He's in the watchtower. There are certain times there's silence. Coaches has to emphasize talk and touch. Winning teams talk, winning team touch. So it's coach to player, player to player, player to coach, coach to parent, player to parent. I let parents watch my practice. Why? Because I'm impacting them, or vice versa, right? If I do something negative and stupid, I hope they call me out. Maybe I'm learning. But the truth is, I got no problem with, I'm very secure with people watching, right? Because I want them to be impacted, and I want them to echo the right thing. If their daughter is lazy or their son is selfish, I want them to see that. There's evidence. So now me and Mr. Smith can be allies and not enemies. But there's too much rift between parents and coaches at the high school, middle school level, college level, because there's not enough relational conflict resolution. And I think we all need to get educated in that. So if you have coaching tools in your toolbox, you might not get the parents like or love, but they're going to respect you. That's all you want. You want them to respect you and support you. They ain't got to come to your barbecue. They ain't got to come to your family reunion. You got enough people on Facebook to do that. All right, you got to camouflage weakness, right? In practice, my players have to have strong body language. They can't yawn. They can't show pain. They got to have that mama mentality. They can't show confusion, although all that's real. They can't show fatigue, although that's real. They got to learn how to hide it and kind of self-talk them way through that. That's grit. That's got to be taught. And then they got to smile. They got to smile. They got to celebrate their success and other success, even if they're shy. I want them to celebrate, right? Because you can be shy or you can be great, but you can't be both. Nothing wrong with being silent, but you can't be shy, right? Not to be successful in life, you got to be aggressive. Not to be, in basketball, you can't be passive. You got to be passionate. And then eye contact when everybody's looking. Eye contact. Somebody's talking to you, eye contact. Teammate, coach, parent. So how do you build it? Well, if you're a player development coach, first priority is give them what they need, right? They got to perform that role with their team. Then they grow their game. First priority, team, right? Role, get them ready for their role. And then second priority, grow their game. There's got to be a balance of both, right? Give feedback during the workout. And there's many stages of intervention. I'll go through these quick. But repeat directions, right? Coach them on the fly. Celebrate little successes. It's not the makes, it's the mechanics, right? It's not the turnovers. It's the try. But continue to encourage and find little successes. Stop, play, pause, right? Make sure you stop, play, pause. Everybody still, pause, get their attention, make a point, and then get out. A lot of times, I use questions. I don't give players the answer. Hey, how'd you score? Good. Hey, what do you think the next play? Why did I stop this? Why was that wrong? So again, use questions and then jump in there, man. Guide them physically. Minnesota Lynx, best program I've ever been in my life. Simone Augustus, Lindsay Whalen, Rebecca Brunson, to name a few. But as a coach, here's a good measure, right? If you want to be an average coach, just say the what. You want to be a good to great coach, then show them how. Demonstrate. You want to be the championship coach, right? The exceptional coach. Do all the above, but explain the why. Why are you doing it? When? Even if it's life skills. Hey, you need to be empathetic. You need to be a servant in life. Why? Man, you got to validate, and you got to do it with parables, charisma, passion. You really got to study your craft as an orator. Very important. All these X and an O is great, but can you connect and relate to the Jimmy and Joe? I'm telling you, that's part of coaching. It's not, as much as adjustment and X and an O. It's, man, can you get inside Susie's heart and mind and take them to a place consistently where they've never been and get them to exceed your expectations? Obviously, go to the movies, from the floor to the film we've talked about. Question time.
How do you build self-confidence?
Great. There's many factors. Number one, what kind of words are you telling them? What kind of words do they hear from you, their teammates? What kind of words are you allowing people to say to them who's having that confidence problem, right? It's the words they listen to on their own, the music, right? Who they hang out with. It's their diet. It's the water. Basically, it's preparation. The only way to confidence is to prepare. You have to find a way to get them to fall in love with work. I've done that. a lot, and I still got, teaching methods. You got to show them. You got to teach them how to learn. You got to get them to do something simple, celebrate it, hey, and then build on that. But a lot of times we coaches go out there and we do drills that they can't do, which is fine. You humble them, right? But then you got to go back to, hey, here are the basics. Get them to master the basics or master something easy. Celebrate it, empower them, give them confidence, and then, make a film edit of all their good plays. Right?
Next one.
And then, but confidence comes from preparation.
Coach, they're wanting to know how they get a hold of handouts, information from you. I mean, you've got tons of content. Champion Productions does too, but maybe you could talk about that.
Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, they've gotten a sheet that I sent you with all my information after this clinic, right?
Right, correct.
You should get an information sheet with everything. If you contact me or Tom, we're going to use that to give away a free curriculum to you guys. And also, if for some reason it doesn't come, just Google me, LinkedIn, find me, tell me you were on this clinic, give me a couple of details on what we talked about, and I will send you all our information to get hooked up. Because, again, I have an online class. I have like a 4-year, maybe more, depending on the type of learner you are, that if you're a beginner coach, this is all you need to learn. And then if you want to go up the ladder to the highest level, that's one of the benefits and choices I made. I had a chance in 2007, 2013, got offered almost every year a chance to coach an NBA, and I didn't want that because this is my calling. Because I love teaching the grassroots and then go teaching, a Sean Williams or a Tyson Chandler. Like, I love the flexibility, and so I've studied that. And then if you want to advance your career, I have information to help you develop that player and that person from every level. And once you do that, then you go search a Kevin Eastman on, all right, how do you become a team coach, a tactical coach? How do you break a 2-3 zone? So I really love what I do. I own what I do, and it'd be great to connect with you on my mentorship program.
Coach, you are absolutely the best. And if anytime you speak at the clinics, when Ed Jenkins clinics and our clinics in the future and in the Final Four, all these are built out of no Final Four or no spring clinics. So we appreciate having you on. You were fantastic. Anything else you want to part with? The only thing I've got here, question-wise, let me look here. I think you've hit almost every single one of them. I've been checking them off as we go, but that self-confidence side is big.
Yeah, I have a whole presentation on confidence, again, because I lived it as a player. It was different being ostracized for being, a white guy growing up in the hood trying to play basketball. So I dealt with all the racism stuff from my family that I got from my friends that were racist, and then from others. And then I got it from the coach side, starting an industry that nobody has really heard about in 2000, and now it's a household name of the player development industry. And I've done it, had a chance by the grace of God to still visit countries and programs. So 100%, I believe I can change your life in an hour. And if you don't believe that as a coach, if you put in enough work, if you knew the hours that I put in, if you don't have that attitude that, hey, man, you can change somebody's life, then you're undervaluing the king inside of you, the queen inside. Kobe had that swag, right? I worked out Chris Paul. He has that swag because of all the hours he put in. So there's no fear. And so I say connect with me on my mentorship. Connect with me through my championship production videos. But get a hold of me because we just scratched the surface. I'm not even into even more practical ideas as a team, as a coach, that you can help fight laziness, fear, right? Selfishness, ignorance. Those are the 4 team and player killers. So as a player and a coach, you need to find solutions for laziness, fear, right, which is confidence, selfishness, and ignorance. And if you know what the enemy is, now you got to go out and get your sword. And so the last thing I want to say is terminology, man. If you have no terminology, you have no culture. And we talked a lot about that today. Now, I don't know when, next couple of days, next week, you got to come back because we're going to take it from the computer to the courts. And we're going to boom, 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 boom. We're going to get after it, show you 1-on-none drills, right, in the driveway, Florida sun, got the music. But we're going to show you fun ways to work out. Now, during the coronavirus while everybody's at home being passive. I'm going to show you how to be productive.
You're the best. Thanks for everything, Ganon.
Thanks for having me.
Scott Davenport's next in 4 minutes. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Coach. Thank you.